good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, we have some very, very interesting news. As the World Boxing Council, better known as the WBC, President Mauricio Suleiman and the board of 32 members have decided to vote on undefeated rising welterweight superstar title contender Jaron Boots Ennis. 28 wins, no losses, no draws, 26 wins by way of knockout. He's 24 years of age, 5'10" with a 74-inch arm reach. They decided to drop Jaron Boots Ennis in their ranking system to elevate former unified welterweight world champion superstar boxer Keith one-time Thurman. Keith Thurman is now 30 wins, 1 loss, no draws, 22 wins by way of knockout, 33 years of age, 5'7" with a 69-inch arm reach. Now, Keith Thurman at one point in time, simultaneously held the WBC and the WBA titles after defeating former 2-division world champion Puerto Rican superstar boxer Danny Swift Garcia March of 2017. But Keith Thurman, he went on a 2-year hiatus in which he was stripped of the WBC title due to inactivity. And then in July of 2019, he lost his WBA title to legendary 8-division world champion, iconic Filipino superstar boxer Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao. With that said, Keith Thurman, after his loss to Manny Pacquiao, July of 2019, went on another 2.5-year hiatus, and came back now to fight WBA regular junior welterweight world champion Mexican star boxer Mario Barrios, who was coming off of a brutal knockout loss, 3 knockdowns, to super featherweight world champion, 3-division undefeated world champion, superstar boxer Gervonta Tank Davis. So with that said, the WBC decided to make this a title eliminator for the mandatory position to face off against the winner of the highly anticipated unification showdown between undefeated unified WBC IBF welterweight world champion superstar boxer Earl the True Spence Jr., who's widely considered by many to be top 3 best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. Errol Spence Jr. is 27 wins, no losses, no draws, 21 wins by way of knockout. He is 31 years of age, 5'9.5" with a 72-inch arm reach. With that said, Errol Spence Jr., he won the title from 2-time welterweight world champion superstar boxer Showtime Sean Porter. He won the WBC title that Sean Porter won after Keith Thurman was stripped of the title. Sean Porter fought Danny Garcia for the vacant WBC title, and Sean Porter beat Danny Garcia. And then Sean Porter, he defended it against the man that Errol Spence is going to face off against in WBA, World Boxing Association, welterweight world champion, Cuban star boxer Yordenis Ugas. That's scheduled to take place April 16th, Arlington, Texas, AT&T Stadium, Dallas Cowboys Stadium. With that said, Yordenis Ugas, Sean Porter defended the title against Yordenis Ugas. He beat Yordenis Ugas, and many people thought that Yordenis Ugas should have gotten a nod. But then Sean Porter went in a unification bout with Errol Spence September of 2019, and he lost to Errol Spence. So that's how Errol Spence picked up the title. Keith Thurman was stripped of the title. Danny Garcia, Sean Porter fought for the vacant WBC title. Sean Porter beat Danny Garcia. Then he defended against Yordenis Ugas. Then he lost it to Errol Spence Jr., who then also defended it against Danny Garcia December 5th of 2020, So that's how the title switched hands, But Keith Thurman, he hasn't been represented the WBC title since 2017, 5 years ago. And Keith Thurman has never defended the WBC title, and that's the first time he even held it. So he didn't even represent the WBC title. Mario Barrios never held the WBC title, nor has Mario Barrios ever held an official title in the sport of boxing. So how did Mario Barrios and Keith Thurman become a title eliminator? Simply because of politics within the sport of boxing. There's no other way or explanation to explain it. Now, you had Jaron Boots Ennis initially. Jaron Boots Ennis was ranked number 3 in the WBC ranking system, Now the WBC has decided to make this a title eliminator between Keith Thurman and Yordenis and Mario Barrios, And since they decided to make this a title eliminator, now they decided to update their ranking system in which they now, have pushed Keith Thurman ahead of Jaron Ennis. Now Keith Thurman is ranked number 3 ahead of Jaron Ennis in the ranking systems, So he has leapfrogged Jaron Boots Ennis without doing much of anything to deserve that opportunity, Initially, You had Errol Spence as the champion. You had undefeated Mexican superstar title contender Virgil Ortiz Jr., who is 18 wins, no loss, no draw, 18 wins by way of knockout, 24 years of age, 5'10" with a 70-inch arm reach. He is at number one, okay? And at number two, you have David Avanesian, okay? 28 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw at number two. And then you had Jaron Boots Ennis at number three, okay? Well, now the WBC has decided to upgrade it, and they decided to move Jaron Ennis out of his position and move him backwards and move Keith Thurman ahead of Jaron Ennis, okay? But didn't move Virgil Ortiz Jr., didn't move David Avanesian. Okay, they decided to move Jaron Boots Ennis. David Avanesian has 3 losses and a draw on his resume. Jaron Boots Ennis is undefeated. Why would you move Jaron Boots Ennis? And initially they had Danny Garcia at number 4, even though he had 2 losses in the WBC. Three losses. He lost in the unification to Keith Thurman. He lost for the vacant title against Sean Porter. And then he lost at his opportunity to regain it against Errol Spence Jr. So they decided to move Jaron Ennis back in his position, okay, and leapfrog Keith Thurman ahead of him. Why not leapfrog Keith Thurman ahead of David Avanesian? Why not just move him to number 2? If that's the case, just move him to number 1, because Virgil Ortiz Jr. is not facing off against anybody in the WBC ranking system. He's facing off against Michael McKinson, okay? Michael McKinson is ranked not in the WBC rankings, okay? Michael McKinson is ranked in the WBO rankings. Just like Jaron Boots Ennis is facing off against Custio Clayton in his next fight, okay? And Custio Clayton is ranked in the IBF rankings. So Jaron Ennis is ranked 3 in the IBF, which is he really ranked number 1 because those spots are vacant. So he's number 1, but he's facing off against what should be the number 3 ranked guy in Custio Clayton. So why is Jaron Ennis being pushed back in the WBC ranking? He did nothing to be pushed back in the ranking system, okay? If anything, why don't you move David Avanesian back in the ranking system opposed to moving Jaron Boots Ennis back in the ranking system, okay? Because what did Jaron Ennis do to lose his ranking position, but you elevate Keith Thurman, who has he has 3 fights in 5.5 years, okay? He's 2-1 in that time frame, okay? And Keith Thurman has not defended the title in 5.5 years. So why is Keith Thurman being moved up in the ranking system over Jaron Boots Ennis, okay? Now, are they willing to order Jaron Ennis to face off against Keith Thurman? Are they going to order Keith Thurman to face off against Virgil Ortiz Jr.? Right? Is this where they're going to go with this? So David Avanesian is 33 years of age. Okay, he has 28 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw, 16 wins by way of knockout. He himself was knocked out. He's 5'8" with a 68.5-inch arm reach. Okay, the last time we saw him in the ring was October of 2021. Okay, and he got a TKO victory over Liam Taylor. So why is David Avanesian, who's going to fight March 19th against Askari Metz, okay, Askari Metz, who's not ranked in the WBC rankings? So David Avanesian is not moving out of his position. Virgil Ortiz is not moving out of his position, and he's fighting somebody in the WBO rankings. But yet they moved Jaron Ennis out of his position, and he's fighting somebody in the top 3 of the IBF ranking system. These are the politics and the games they play within the sport of boxing when they want to move the pieces around on the chessboard strategically to put somebody in position that hasn't earned it. Keith Thurman needs to face. Why don't they order Jaron Ennis versus Keith Thurman? Instead of why don't you move Danny Garcia out the position? Danny Garcia has plans to move up to junior middleweight. So you have Virgil Ortiz at 1. You have David Avanesian at 2. You have Jaron Ennis at 3, and Danny Garcia, who just lost to Errol Spence. So he has 3 opportunities at the WBC, and he lost all of them. You move Danny Garcia out of the 4 spot, and you put Keith Thurman in the 4 spot and order Keith Thurman versus Jaron Boots Ennis. Not move Jaron Boots Ennis back a spot to Danny Garcia's spot, and then Keith Thurman ahead of him in the ranking system. These are the politics that's ruining the sport of boxing. The WBC is ruining the sport of boxing. The WBC introduced a franchise title to the sport of boxing for no apparent reason, to allow fighters to not fight other fighters. And so now, once again, they have interjected themselves for no reason to make Keith Thurman, Mario Barrios a title eliminator. And now, instead of just moving Danny Garcia, who plans to leave the division, out of his position at number 4 and replace him with Keith Thurman, and then order Keith Thurman against one of the top 3 for the title eliminator, okay? No, they move him ahead of Jaron Ennis. Amazing. So now he don't have to face the guy behind him. Horrible. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue. Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Raw. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.